Let's talk about the shoulders, specifically the rotator cuff. So what is the rotator cuff? It's actually made of 4 different muscles that wrap around the shoulder like a sling. So the 4 muscles are supraspinatus, infraspinatus, then we have the subscapularis, and then the teres minor, which is more down here because you have a teres major here that kind of works with the lats. Teres minor is down here. So these wrap around and it holds this bone, the humerus bone, in the socket because we have the shoulder blade here and we have the collarbone here and we have this muscle or this bone, and then they don't actually connect. It's just the rotator cuff muscles holding them in place. So it's super important to keep the rotator cuff muscles very strong because they can easily get damage to them or tears. And when the shoulder thinks it's getting injured, it will freeze on you, and that's extremely painful. It takes a lot of PT to unfreeze a shoulder, so we don't want that. So there's also other muscles that work within shoulder stabilization. You know, we have the front muscles here with the pecs. We have back muscles here too, lots of back muscles. We have, lats here. Then we have, shoulder blade muscles on the other side, like rhomboids. Then we have in here the traps, lots of different kinds of muscles. I could go on with that. But we're going to focus on rotator cuffs. So in Pilates, we do what we call back rowing. We do front rowing. That's all working the shoulder area. But for rotator cuff work specifically, in reformer anyways, we have what's called a sidearm series. So you can do this sitting or kneeling. Kneeling is going to be more challenging because it's going to deal with torso stability a little more. And we need really light tension because we do not need a lot of tension for the rotator cuffs because these are our stabilizing muscles. So they're not going to get sore like, let's say, the bicep or the quad muscles. Those are bigger muscles, the bigger muscle groups that span 2 joints. They're going to produce more of the lactic acid. So they will tend to be more sore after a workout, where rotator cuff muscles, oxygen's always flowing to them. They don't produce the lactic acid, so they're not going to get sore. So that's why you may not feel sore after Pilates, because we're working a lot of deep stabilizers. So we use a strap, and you'll see lots of different variations of it, but the idea is to keep the elbow close to you so the elbow's not moving around, and you're just moving this humerus bone in the socket. Close the door and open the door. And we say close the door and open the door, and think of this bone as being the door hinge. So we're keeping this stable. We're just rotating the bone in the socket. And then we do it the other side. This side's the tougher one. So collarbone stays nice and wide. We don't want to roll the shoulder forward. We're trying to lengthen this out and away, sternum lifting up a little, and then we're opening the door and closing the door without leaning through the body, without twisting, because it's going to be so easy for the body to move. But we're staying nice and tall, and we're tightening the abs and having the abs initiate the movement from here in the rotator cuff, moving the bone in the socket. And this is as far as I go. And this is only a half spring. So it would seem super light, but it's actually really tough to actually stay in a good alignment through the shoulder girdle. So we're opening and closing. So, and then we can always do other versions, like you'll see other versions, rub across the stomach. We do rub across the stomach the other way. We can do the backhand here. That one's a tougher one. We can do arm circles around to move through the shoulder. There's other ones we can hug the moon. Everyone loves this one, right? That one's a tough one. We're just trying to move through the shoulder without moving the rest of the body. So we're just engaging through our abs, working on stabilizing through the shoulders. So this will help make the shoulders really strong, keep everything open here, because as a society, we're so forward with everything, driving, typing, just working in general. So it's good to open through the chest. And how do we do that? These front muscles are so tight. So opening through the chest will help stretch here, engaging through the back muscles here, and then having the rotator cuffs hold the bone in the socket so we stay nice and strong and healthy.